Welcome back to Let's Vibe podcast hosted by Vibe with Aid. Today, I'm joined by my best friend Lester as we take a trip down memory lane to when we first started raving. We'll talk about how our rave fam came to be and funny memories that we look back on. I'm so excited, so let's vibe into today's episode. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Right before I started recording this, my mic broke, which if you're watching on YouTube, my mic didn't break. It just broke off the stand somehow, so here we are, you guys. So I'm just going to be holding this for this portion of the episode. Thank God I have it's an interview today, so I just have to hold this temporarily. But today's Thursday, while I'm recording this, we are ahead of our game, people. I'm feeling good today. I hope you all had a good weekend. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. I appreciate it immensely. I hope you enjoyed the last episode of my experience attending my first drive-in rave in San Antonio. The vlog is now up, so you guys can go check that out. It's been a week for me, so I'm excited to dive into this episode with you guys. But first order of business, make sure if you haven't already, rate, review, subscribe, share with a friend, all that jazz. It's free content I'm doing every other week for you guys, and I share it with you guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let's keep the community growing and whatnot. So share this episode on your Instagram story today or on Twitter. Send it to a friend. Get a good laugh out of it. Lester is such a character, and I hope it's going to bring some joy to your day, honestly. And also be sure to tag me in it so I can see it. But I appreciate your guys' support during this time so much. I've talked about it a lot, and it's been hard being a creator during this time, but you guys keep me going, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Which leads me into the Let's Vibe Member of the Week. So this is for supporters of the podcast to shout them out. So if you write a review, leave a comment on YouTube, or you tag me on Instagram, whatever it may be, do that. And if I notice you, no, I'm kidding. If you do that, and I've just been compiling those people that have been supporting the podcast, and I'll shout you out from time to time. So this week's Let's Vibe Member of the Week is another Apple Podcast review. So snaps, we love that. This is from Super Rad Kid is the username. So I don't know their actual name, but they wrote, Aid's voice is so soothing. I love her weekly check-ins and the knowledge she shares about festival and life. Thank you. Thank you, Super Rad Kid, for your review and for all the support. I'm glad you find my voice soothing because I feel like I don't. Unless I'm doing like ASMR. Could you imagine doing a whole episode of a podcast doing ASMR? I'm just kidding, but... Anyway, I'm also glad you enjoy the vibe checks because they're my favorite thing to do with a podcast. And I hope to meet you at a festival one day. So thank you so much. And I am sending you some good vibes your way. If you're watching YouTube, I'm doing a little spirit fingers. This is my good vibes coming to you. So thank you so much for the support. And that was just a perfect segue, you guys, because that review mentioned my weekly check-in. So it's time for a vibe check. Sorry, I am in such a silly mood. I think it's because I'm like hyped that Lester is coming. I don't know. I'm in a good mood, you guys, but I feel like I need a jingle or like an air horn for like the vibe check. Like the Sorry. I am completely sober too. I haven't been drinking or anything, but I just have been like having in my mind, vibe check. Maybe one day I'll get Lester to do a little jingle for me. We'll see. Anyways, I'll talk more about why I'm in a silly mood, but for those that are new to the vibe check, it's my chance to check in with y'all, to tell y'all what's been going on in my life, as well as it's a chance for you to take a moment and sit with your feelings and how you're feeling and whatnot. You know, it's now July, which is fucking crazy to me. We're still in quarantine, still in a pandemic. Black lives still matter, and it's also an election year. So there's so much going on. So I am a huge advocate for taking the time for yourself to process and sit with your feelings and, just take care of yourself and do what you can. It's like so crazy what we're going through. I talked about it in my July letter from the editor, which is on vibewithaid.com. For those that don't know, I have a blog. And every month I do a letter from the editor. And my July month is like, you guys, take care of yourself because we have a lot going on and it's a lot to keep track of. And it's okay to just take some time for yourself, honestly. I think it's super, super important. You can't pour from an empty cup is one of my favorite things that always brings me back. So you got to keep doing what we can to keep our mind right so we can keep fighting the good fight, keep doing it and keep going after our dreams and stuff and keep going after being the best versions of ourselves. So what we'll do, I'm going to zen out for a moment and calm down because I feel so hyped right now. What we'll do is we'll take 3 deep breaths. So let's do the first one. Inhale it in and exhale it back out. Inhale it back in and again back out. Last one. Inhale it in. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and exhale it back out. So I'll ask the following questions and you can think in your head those answers. You can ponder it throughout today. Journal it, whatever feels good for you. I love journaling. That is what I do every morning. It's part of my morning routine. But otherwise you can just think about that. Sit with your thoughts for a moment and kind of reflect on what I just asked. So, how am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could this feeling be trying to teach me? This is a new one this week. What could make today better, or is there a need to? What are 3 things I'm grateful for today? What could I affirm for myself today, or a goal I can set for myself? Now, I'll go ahead and share how I'm feeling, and you can ponder these thoughts as we go throughout today. So today, like I said, I'm feeling a little giggly, feeling a little silly, feeling in a good mood. It's Thursday for me. Tomorrow's Friday, which also feels great. I wasn't feeling like this earlier this week. My good old friends called self-doubt, imposter syndrome, and comparison walked into my life again. It's been a minute since they've been in my life. I've worked so hard to not have those things come into my life and affect me. But I think because I'm on this incline, we're steadily going up. And there's just things that are going to come into your life just to test you a little bit, see where you're at and see how you react to it. So I sat with those feelings a little bit and, self-doubt was basically trying to tell me I'm not doing anything really. I'm not progressing forward. My YouTube channel is slowly growing, but it's not doing a whole lot, which means my content isn't great. So, it's just stuff like that. We don't love her. And then imposter syndrome, for those that don't know, it basically is saying that you don't deserve the things that are happening to you in a way. You feel like you don't deserve them because you've been an imposter. You don't think that you've worked hard enough or that you're worthy of these things, whatever it may be. So that has been happening with Vibe with Aid and also my job. So I've been having a little bit of that. That happened when I first moved to Austin. I was having a ton of that stuff happen. And then the comparison game. This is my worst one. Comparing my journey to others, comparing my content to others, comparing what other people are at in their lives, comparing whatever. And it makes me feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. There's not enough success to go around. Blah, 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 blah. That was what those 3 people tried to tell me. And, I just journaled it out yesterday. I vented to Instagram. I just let people know how I was feeling. And it felt really good. And I kind of just wrote in my journal, I just need to get back to having fun with stuff, having fun with Vibe with Aid, having fun with learning how to DJ and other things that I want to pursue and just have fun again. So that's how I'm in a silly mood right now. I feel like I'm just having fun with it and going with it and whatever. Otherwise, like, it's been pretty good. I had my first weekend to myself in a while, which was very interesting. The person that I had been quarantining with or seeing during this whole thing had to go get tested. So had to self-isolate this past weekend, but we're good. We're fine. Everything's good. I'm good. The person's good. We're all good. We're all doing good. It was just that kind of led me into a little bit of a funk this week, but it's okay. I'm still adjusting to everything like many of you are. I'm permanently work from home now. So this is my life now, working from home. So I just have to find ways to like make sure I'm staying active, make sure I'm like getting out of the house and like stuff like that, which is hard because I'm a Taurus and a Virgo moon, Capricorn rising. I'm triple earth sign in the 3 most important planets or signs. That makes me want to stay home. So I have to find ways to get outside because I'm also an earth sign. I like nature, but there's not a whole lot of places to walk around my apartment. But when I move to my new place in a little over a month, I'm going to have a lot more places to walk. So we're just going with the flow. We're figuring it out. And I'm just trusting that whatever is meant for me is going to come to me. I am worthy of success. There is enough success to go around. There is enough abundance to go around. Yeah, we're feeling good. We're feeling a lot better. Like, snap, we're back. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm feeling good. I think I can continue with this feeling and ride in this train out into the weekend and just keep reminding myself whenever these feelings come back and whatnot. Like I talked about, what could these feelings be trying to teach me? I think it's just trying to see if I can calm myself down when I go in these thought spirals, you know? Like, I just basically was like, these are obviously trying to teach me something, but is it really true? You know what I mean? Like, I just remind myself of all the successes that I have had and will continue to have because I have gotten myself there, you know? Any goal that I've set or tried to manifest, attain, like, I've gotten it. Somehow, some way, I've still managed to get it. So, and even when I'm in these funks, I still get the job done. Like, I was still posting on Instagram. I was still posting, like, my content. And, like, you guys probably couldn't even tell that I was feeling like that the past couple of days. But because I still get the job done. And I still get the job done at work and, like, whatever. So, it's like I'm on autopilot. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm having these thoughts, like, I'm still going through the motions because I know I'll feel a lot worse if I don't go through those motions. So that's a little bit insight into what's going on up here. Hopefully that's helpful for some of you guys that also might be feeling the same. Like, it just really helps to get honest with your feelings and like know that those feelings aren't forever. They're just temporary. They're trying to teach you something. So it's good to just journal. If you need to cry, cry. One thing I learned from therapy this year is that like sit with those emotions and just feel it out because the moment that you do, they pass by a lot quicker. So like when I was going through my breakup, if I needed to cry, I just cried it out, you know, because holding it in felt a whole lot worse than not. And like the reason why I wasn't feeling great the past couple of days is because I wasn't wanting to talk to anyone about it. I was just holding it in. But the moment that I told someone about it, I felt so much better. And like I talked to Emma yesterday about it and I talked to like other people about it and I just felt better. And that was like a huge weight lifted off. So hopefully that's helpful. What could make today better, or is there a need to? I don't think there's a need to. I'm feeling good. I get to talk to my bestie in a little bit. We get to interview him and talk to him. So I'm excited. 3 things I'm grateful for today. So every morning I do journal and I write 3 things I'm grateful for. So today I said I am grateful for my health because with everything going on, obviously, that is something that we cannot take for granted as our health and the way that our body has been able to protect us. I am grateful for the opportunity of a new day. This is something I was saying a lot, is that even though today might not have hit the mark exactly, I'm excited for the chance of another day and the fact that I get to wake up another day. And one thing I'm really trying to work on this next week is changing out I have to and say I get to. So instead of being like I have to wake up at 5 a.m., saying I get to wake up at 5 a.m. I have to work out. I get to work out. I have to work. I get to work. You know what I mean? Because all of that is a privilege in itself and a blessing in itself that we get to wake up every day. We have a roof over our head. We get to work. We get to work on progressing ourselves forward to get to the best versions of ourselves. We get the opportunity to do that. And I don't think we realize how much of that is, a blessing. So that's something I really wanted to bring up with you guys, is something I'm working on, and hopefully maybe you can try switching that out on some of the things that you say too. And the last one that I've been saying a lot is I am grateful to be me. We've made a lot of big strides this year, and I'm very happy with where I am and where I'm going and everything. Even though it feels like I'm in this stagnant place, I'm still making strides, and I'm still proud of myself. And so, yeah. Then my affirmation for today, so that for those that don't know, when you affirm something, it's basically like putting it out into the universe. It's a really great way to do manifestation. It's also a really great way to just like pump yourself up, give yourself more confidence, stuff like that. So one affirmation that I am saying today is that I am trusting the timing of my life. So I have a lot of big dreams and a lot of things I want to do in this life, and I want it all right now. I think that's just like a millennial thing. We want it now. We want that instant gratification. And something a friend of mine named Chase, he recently taught me, was delayed gratification. And that, for some reason, has just been sticking out in my mind so well, because we are just wanting that instant gratification. But why don't we enjoy this process and delay the gratification and enjoy just where we're at right now? So I'm learning to enjoy where I'm at right now, and just trust that by me putting in the work to get to where I want to go, I know I'm going to get there. So I should just enjoy the ride. So that's why we're in this like silly, funny mood, because I'm just like, you know what? I'll get there eventually, but we might as well have fun while we're doing it. Why take things so seriously? So that is it for this week's vibe check. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was great. I love you guys, and I am going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. So this week, for this week's little break promo that I've been doing, everyone really loved the Brits Blossoms promo, so we're doing this again. This week, I want to talk about Relita Couture. I have been working with them since 2018, and they are just an incredible and inclusive brand to support in the Rave and festival scene. It is a Latin-owned brand owned by Rosa and her husband, Eric, and they are just the kindest humans. I did a photo shoot with them back in 2018 or 2019. It was like one of my first photo shoots, which was so crazy. But you can learn more about Rosa and Relita Couture on Emma Capotes' Rave Culture Cast. It makes me really happy to see where my money is going to support their dreams, because Rosa was able to take a trip to visit her family for the first time in a while because of our support. So it really just warms my heart to support a small business like hers, as I say time and time again on this podcast. Aside from that, the quality is there, you guys, with their clothes, and the brand really is for all shapes and sizes and will truly make you feel confident and comfortable. Relita Couture has really just made such an impact on this community, and I can see it with all the women that wear her clothes. I can see it literally through their photos. They're just radiating confidence and whatnot. So there have been some fun collections for summer coming out, as well as some streetwear lines and items coming soon. So if you decide to shop with Relita Couture, you can use Vibe with Aid for 15% off. I do make a commission off that, just so you guys know, so feel free to use that, but no worries if not. I'm just glad I could use my platform to highlight brands in our space that need our support right now. So thank you if you do check out Relita Couture. All right, so let's get back into today's episode. All right, you guys, I am so unbelievably excited for this. I was looking at my calendar and thinking who I could interview, who do I want to have on this podcast, and I remember Emma did an episode on her podcast, Rave Culture Cast, with her friends where they were talking about their OG raving days. So I thought, who would be perfect for this than none other than my bestie Lester. We've known each other since 2015, which is so crazy to me, but we'll get into how we met and all of that. But yeah, we've been in the same rave fam and festival fam. We've gone to EDC, Coachella, so many festivals together. And I had another rave fan when I first started raving, but I ended up raving and going to fest with Lester and our group of friends. So we're just going to take a trip down memory lane today. He's been in a couple of my vlogs, so this is going to be a great way to get to know him better. I thought this would be a good, lighthearted episode. We will touch a little bit on his experience being a Black man right now, but I just think this is going to be a great way for you to get to know me more and Lester more as well. So without further ado, let's welcome Lester to the podcast. All right, you guys, he's here, the man, the myth, the legend, Lester. I'm in a giggly mood today. I'm so excited to have you here.
I know, right? About damn time. I'm just
For those that don't know, if you don't already know, this is my best friend Lester. He's been in a couple of the vlogs we were talking about it. He's been a part of the brand since the beginning, honestly, in my vlogs and stuff, and my main supporter. Probably going to be my maid of honor and whatnot. Or officiating the wedding. Who knows? Either or.
I would be proud to do either.
Either or. But if you want to give a little introduction of yourself, say your name, where you're from, how old you are, hobbies you picked up, all that jazz.
All right. Well, like Adriana said, my name is Lester. Born and raised in Arizona, and I actually still currently live in Arizona. I'm in Phoenix, Arcadia area. For those of you who are local, I also went to ASU, graduated with my undergrad and master's from there. So go Devils. Oh yeah, always and forever. Let's see, hobbies wise, typical hobbies besides dancing, movies, hanging out with friends. I really like biking, hiking, running, cooking as well. I wouldn't say I'm a full-on chef, but I can throw some things around. And I recently just purchased a Dutch oven. I was telling Adriana about this, and the recipes have been excellent. It's been going wonderfully. So very excited about that. Obviously, with Arizona and everything, Corona, a lot of our options are limited in what we can do. So just trying to make sure I'm hanging out, but responsibly, smaller groups, or even virtually if I can, and just being mindful of the rest of the world right now, or the rest of the Arizona community, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Staying safe. I miss home. I don't even know when I'm going to come home next.
You know what? Honestly, at this point, you probably just shouldn't. It's kind of a mess. We'll see you when we see you.
Waiting for Thanksgiving. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll knock it all, or at least handle on things by November.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, Lester and I get along so well because we're both Earth signs. So he's a Capricorn and I'm a Taurus. And we're also both Slytherins, which we bonded over a lot over.
It's on brand, yeah, for sure.
Very on brand. And we go back 2014, 2015.
I was about to say, I think my freshman year, 2014, 2015 was when we all started at least interacting with each other. I wouldn't say we were full on friends yet, but we knew each other. We would hang out with each other. It was probably around 2015, 2016. We were okay, I like this bitch. Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about that, but first we'll get into a vibe check. So you've checked out a couple of the podcast episodes, so now you get to do a little vibe check for yourself.
The very first one.
Yeah, your first one, where we just check in with how you're doing, and just checking in and everything. So I know personally, I know for you, it's been a rough couple of months. And
I don't know, but yes. I said I don't know why I smiled, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm just smiling through it all, but if you want to talk a little bit more about what's been going on for you and everything that's been going on in the world and whatnot and how it's been affecting you, I think a lot of people would really like to hear. And yeah,
everyone is going through just COVID, the world, a country, a state, I guess our nation state, and just politics has always been very taxing, especially with the COVID. I'm just kind of sprinkled in there with everything. I'm blessed to have a job. I'm like, I really have to count my blessings here. I'm very thankful that I still have income. I still have a place to live. Like there's a lot of my friends, even especially your friends as well, our age group, have been laid off, furloughed in some capacity. So like very, very thankful that I still have a company that's having me work and I have something to do every day that keeps me preoccupied. Obviously, being a Black and gay man, the last 2 months have been taxing in their own special way, just like witnessing things. Definitely not something I'm not used to, unfortunately, but trying to be a little bit more productive, especially with quarantine giving me a lot of time to process and like think about it rather than just like throwing it over my shoulder as I would typically have done. So trying to be active. I've started just volunteering for some places, donating a lot more of my money than normal. I'm trying to kind of be a little bit more forward thinking with the type of world I want to see. So that's honestly been really helpful with, I guess, just my mental psyche processing things, or just like me making choices to help and be a tangible change in our communities. So I'm working through it, obviously, trying to keep my mental health. Obviously, things like this, talking with my best friends, always keeps me afloat. So very thankful. But, taking it day by day is normal and just trying to enjoy the things that I can enjoy. So, yeah.
And I will say I've been very proud and honored that I get to go through all of this with you, because I know it's been hard, and like it's hard. I can't physically like be there with you and everything. And I'm really glad that I have you that I can use as like a motivation to be a better ally, like we've talked about this before, where like I've always said I'm not good with politics. So like you and a lot of other people in our friend group have always inspired me to be better and to do better and everything. So I feel for you, and I'm really just proud of you. And I know it's been a hard couple of months, but I think every little bit counts, right? Whether it's the conversations that we're having with our friend groups, or it's donating or volunteering, or just educating and whatever it may be. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you for sharing all of that. With the vibe check, we also say 3 things that you're grateful for today. So if you want to share 3 things that you're grateful for.
I mean, yeah, I will have to recycle a little bit, because definitely still thankful to have a job. Like just finances in general are handled for me, and I'm very just like, I will not discount that as a true privilege right now. So like, I totally thankful for that. I am thankful for my family's health, especially just with a lot of the facts and things that we're seeing with the disproportionate effect of COVID on African-American communities. I'm just glad that my family is doing well. We have the resources to handle these things, and we seem to be weathering the storm very well. So just knock on wood on that, but obviously very thankful. And then again, I'm thankful for my friends, not to make you feel special, but you, a lot of the people who have been side by side with me, kind of checking in on me with just like my mental process through everything. It's like these last few weeks have just been taxing in so many ways, yes, but it's also just been so illuminating to see so many people take the mantle of like truly actually wanting to be an ally, and not just the performative aspect about it, but like really being a space where I can feel safe to speak out, whether they were fellow people of color or non-fellow people of colors, or just people who, minorities who have been, like, I've had a lot of different conversations about how the last few days or months and weeks have really taxed them as well. And I think that kind of trauma to trauma conversation has been very healing, oddly enough. So very thankful for my friends. Always thankful, but it's just, it's been great to see those relationships that we cultivate kind of in practice. So, yeah.
Definitely. That was so sweet. I'm also glad your family is doing okay during this time. Didn't Joy start a fitness account?
Yes, she did. That's my little sis. I should pull up the handle and give her a plug, but my sister, she's really trying to just track down healthy methods of living and eating. I really enjoy the time that she's taken to this. She's actually a recent graduate from U of A, so she would have, I know U of A, but like, I still love her. She's really lost out on a lot of great opportunities of graduation and is celebrating it all. So I'm very glad to see that she's being productive. She'll be moving out to the East Coast, Philadelphia, New Jersey area, I believe, for an assistant buyer position. So I'm very proud, very, very proud of my sister. But she's just doing things to take care of her body, and she wants the world to see. So I will find that handle and share it with you guys when this video goes live. But yeah, follow my sister. She's really fucking cool.
So sweet. She's always had some type of like, she has her own blog too, I think, right?
Or, like, honestly, you just want like good clothing ideas. My sister's also a great plug. She'll give you like the cheap options too if you're trying to save life. But she's actually recently been looking into cheap but also sustainable and ethical. So don't feel like you need to sell your soul. She gives you like great styles and like different versions of that style and just kind of breaks it down. So she's just a resource in a lot of ways right now. So
we love that. Little plug. We love that.
She's gonna be like, "What the hell? You were talking about me on this?"
Yeah. Well, and then last thing is either an affirmation or a mantra you've been saying lately, or like a quote that you're living by, or a goal that you're working towards.
I have a fun one, and I know you've discussed this in general. Like, I think this is actually probably informed by your opinions on some of this. Like, everything canceling, obviously, me being a friend of Aid, I also travel very frequently for festivals, interactions with friends. I think I've canceled over like $4,000 in planes, like in the last, just from like flights for the last few weeks. And it's been very obviously discouraging, but really a mindset I've been having recently has just been like, we will one day, I don't care how long if it's a few months or 5 years, we will one day have those experiences again. And I just hold on to how special that moment will be to be with all of you guys again, and just how much more special will be after these trials and tribulations. So it's just like, I just know we have such a pure moment ahead in our futures if we can just like buckle down and really come together as a community. And I'm just really excited for that, literally whenever it comes. So just trying to hold on to that just thought, you know.
We'll have another like shelter Coachella moment again. Which we'll talk about.
A little too serious, but yeah.
But like, you know, that feeling that we have.
Oh, like, yes, exactly the vibe that I feel.
Much more appreciative of it, of everything, I feel like, and
100%.
never take it for granted again, I feel like, after this. So that's definitely, you know, a good mindset to have. But that is it for the vibe check. I was saying before this that I feel like you need to help me with like a little jingle for the vibe check or something, you know? Lester's really great at EDM acapella, which is like, well, he's also great at singing just in general, but I feel like he would be really good at making me a jingle or something for a vibe check.
So the EDM acapella came from me. I was like very new to EDM before I interacted with like Aid and our really good friend Devin. And there would be like these really, really well-known songs like Marshmallow or something, and I wouldn't know the words to them. So I would just have to be like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the hell are you like? So this isn't like an actual like skill I should be proud of. It actually comes from a lot of shame. But yeah, I can make noises that sound like some EDM songs.
He would always like be like, what's that song called? Like, it goes like, and then try and like sound it out. And me and my friend Devin would be like, we have no idea.
He would just stare at me like, just like, yeah.
So that is a good segue to start talking about, you know, the past, how we got here.
Would you say that spritz? Myth.
So we talked a little bit about how we met, but so in my mind, I think it was Greek Sing was really like the point. Yes.
Me and Aid were what you would like to call overachievers, tryhards, really cared way too fucking much. Like all those verbiages work well when you describe us in college. Very involved in our communities of Greek life, and then I was also involved in, we were involved in other student organizations who came together in student government actually a few years after. But so Greek Week came around. I think our fraternity and sorority were partnered with another fraternity, and I was one of the chairs. And Adriana wasn't one of the chairs, but she was like in charge. Like her and like our other chairs, she was like very much just like someone that people would listen to. And so, you know, me being smart, just latched on to the powerful women, and we were just all powerful together and just like ruled with an iron fist, and just really put people through the ringer, but we won. Obviously, you know, for people, whenever you have like mutual goals, you spend a lot of time with each other. We started doing like homework together, I believe, always working on other things, but like also.
Yeah, because we weren't even in the same major. But
No,
we
yeah.
were, like, going through it together.
Just started like doing life together because we were a little overcommitted, and then we just became friends. We stayed in touch. I think she was also really good friends with other people I interacted with, so I think it really probably, I can safely say our relationship was pretty strong before we started like going to music festivals and concerts together. I definitely think like that aspect of our relationship definitely solidified it, though. I think I would definitely have called you a really, 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 really good friend, even as far as best friend then. But I think it wasn't until we started like traveling together, seeing things together, interact with each other in that same experience that we were like, oh wow, we're probably never gonna not see each other ever fucking again.
Was Mad Decent your first event?
No, so mine was Crush, remember?
Oh.
Yeah. So fun story about me, you guys. I used to like be like such an EDM hater. Not a hater. I think that's a bad terminology. I think like because like our mutual friend Devin, he would go to shows and all the time, and like a few of my roommates alongside, because me and Devin were roommates. A few of our other roommates would go with him, and I specifically remember it was the Decadence before the Crush I went to, where like I didn't want to go to Decadence because I'm like, oh, weird. But I threw like a New Year's party at our house, and they all came back from like Decadence like 4 a.m. and you could just tell they had like a really, really good time. So I was just like sitting like, that looked like a lot of fun. Like I should. And then they convinced me to buy a Crush ticket. And I don't think we went together. I think we went with different groups, but like I knew you were going. I remember the day I think I told you that I was going to Crush, and you were just like what are you? Like, you're going to a rave? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna try it. Had a great time there. Adriana, it was probably one of her first cases of her being a rave mom. Probably not first, but probably one of the more.
Because I think that Crush I was with Sydney Katie's.
Yeah, I think you were with Ashton too, if I remember correctly. Was he there?
I don't think he went to Crush. He went to Mad Decent. But
maybe it was Mad Decent. Yeah.
He went. So I was with Sydney Katie's, Alexa Glickman, Jesse Toffler.
Yes. All these names sound familiar.
Pikes. So like, for those that don't know, I was raving with two different groups basically. I started out raving with like Pikes because I was like hanging out with them. That's a fraternity. And then I kind of went and attached to the SIGTOG group, which is like my rave fam. I didn't even remember that you went to Crush. That was so long ago. That was like,
I don't remember really either. There's a lot of hearts.
No, I was there. I remember one of the things I remember was this lesbian couple was going around handing out lollipops, and I was just so amazed. This was like my third rave because I think I went to Mad Decent 2015, then Decadence, the one that Devin had gone to, and then Crush. So that was like my third event.
Close behind you. I thought there was like a huge amount.
No.
It makes sense though, timeline wise. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that far apart. So, and then after that I went to Phoenix Lights, but that Crush was like Seven Lions, Jaws.
I think Keys and
Crates, yeah. I forgot who else, but those three. That was my first time seeing Seven Lions, and it was so good.
It's crazy to think that we saw Seven Lions way back then, and like how. I mean, like, I definitely, like, really listen to Seven Lions. I wouldn't say they're one of my, like, favorite artists, but I, like, constantly listening to their music, and it's just, like, wild to think they've been a part of my life so soon. Because I didn't know who Seven Lions was when I first went. Like, I mean, wow. I recognize some of their songs, maybe, but, like, all those names had then just became, like, people consistently in my, like, discography of music I really enjoy, so...
Yeah, that's the same thing when I look back at the Decadence lineup, because I saw Above and Beyond, Adventure Club, Odessa. That was my first time seeing Odessa, and then Chami. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so crazy. Like looking back then. Did you go? And then after that, you went to Mad Decent, or did you go to any others after that?
So I last minute sent it to Hard Summer.
Oh yes.
me and Brianna bought like tickets literally the day before everybody was leaving, and we just went. And that's the first time I saw Porter,
Yes.
Dead. Let's see, there was a few others. That was back when Floss was together. So them, I'm trying to think. I had a rough day one. I hit it a little too hard and went home early, one could say. I'll let you guys have your imagination on that. And so day two, I was really like, okay, I really want this to work. I actually met so many people that we're still friends with to this day, like Stephanie and Caroline.
Yeah.
That day I met them. You guys have probably seen and heard of Steph. She's all
Steph, yeah.
with a community. And she's just amazing. So love you, Steph. I was actually thinking about texting her like just today because I'm like, I really want to just like see her face again.
I didn't realize that they all met her at Coachella 2016 then.
Yeah.
I didn't realize, okay, now the timeline's all making sense to me because we've all just like have just become friends.
Yeah. You guys see how confusing this is for us? Like, our friends will meet somebody at one thing, and then like they'll come together at another thing, and then they become our friends. And then like 6 years from now, we're trying to like figure out who knew who, when, and where, and it just makes no sense.
Yeah.
But just thankful to have them all.
Yeah. So we had would you say our Rave fam started Matt Decent, basically?
Yeah.
It was Hard Summer that turned into...
I think a lot of the people who went to Hard Summer started, like, we're just like, we'll just go to everything and anything now.
Yeah.
But I think Mad Decent was the first time, like, all of us, like, showed up together, pregame together. And when did we bring out the shirts?
Oh, God. The shirts.
Okay, first, I will never say sorry for these shirts. I know it is so disgusting, like the dark side of like the EDM culture, but we had matching glitter gang shirts, which are really just the Gucci sign with glitter on them. And I don't know why we weren't ever sued, but like it never happened. And we had like a glitter gang Instagram.
It was called Glitter Gang, for those that don't know.
Yes, Glitter Gang AZ. I think our Twitter is still alive. I don't know who's
it is.
Yeah.
So these are the shirts we had. We had a rainbow order, and then we had a black t-shirt order.
Yes. I would wear the black one a little bit more consistently and just really felt on brand. But no, we would like all, like, there'd be like 40 of us that would show up in these ridiculous shirts, and all of us had, we forgot about the hashtags. We would have our own like hashtags, like we were like on a dodgeball team or something across the top of the back.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So in our Rave fam, I was Rave Mom.
Yes. I was Best Lest.
Yeah. We had our own little names and everything. We had a group me.
Mm-hmm.
Group me is still alive. I check in every now and then.
Great for music.
Yeah.
Just zooms on zooms. Yeah.
So it's always crazy because I always tell people, they're like, oh, how big is your Rave fam? And I'm like, we squatted out. Like, our fam is huge.
I remember the first like decadence that we like planned, again, like the social chairs and like the earth signs and the planners that we were. It was like 2 busloads of people. We had organized shifts for when the buses were leave. We had like wristbands. And I know everybody does this now, and it's like so.
We started the trend.
It's maybe not started it, but like we showed people like you can put this stuff down to a fucking science.
Yeah.
Like you can figure it out. So it was nice. I mean, everyone we knew though, like it was always at least through somebody. A lot of our friends that we'd met would come down. They would just love coming to Arizona groups, like events, not because Arizona events were probably like better, especially like our California friends. They would just come to see everyone.
Yeah.
And we had it organized where they could have a good time. Also, with being ASU students, there's just always other things going on too. So we take them to a few parties, take them to Mill when we were old enough. Like it was just always a great experience to just like really host our friends whenever we could around Rave days.
Yeah, it was always so fun. I feel like Decadence was like our most like favorite, I feel like.
Yeah.
'Cause it was like the one that kind of like bonded all of us, but it's like the one that like almost everyone goes to in our fam because like
Still to this day too.
yeah, because we'll have people that like go to Coachella, go to EDC, but those will be like smaller groups of the fam. But like the
Mhm.
one where everybody shows out, I feel like was always Decadence, and it was always
Mhm.
just like
It's just so easy.
yeah,
Yeah, I think global. We had a lot of people like the global. What was that
yeah, Global.
before? What's it called?
So it
Um,
was the Wild Wild West one,
yeah, it was the wild. But what replaced it? Technically,
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush. Yeah, yeah, Gold Rush. Um, those two were always very consistently traversed by our team, our group. So it was always nice to see everybody.
And Phoenix
Yeah.
Lights too. What would you say is your favorite Ace or not Ace Arizona festival?
Honestly, I think my favorite one, biasly, is Decadence, and I say that because reveal, I have never been to a Phoenix Lights. Yes, it's just never really worked out for my schedule.
Our time. It's always
Yeah,
thing.
April, end of the year, exactly, especially being involved in school. Like, I think Greek week was always falling during that weekend. It was just like a really hard, I had elections that happened when I was running for student government too, when Brandon was running for student government. So it would never, and then we had formals and fraternity and sorority things. It just was always such a hard weekend to like make an excuse to be like, let me just go be a hot mess for like 3 days. But yeah, I think honestly, from what all my friends say, I would probably enjoy Phoenix Lights either just as much or probably a little bit more, because I think just Decadence, everyone does it. Like
Yeah.
everyone and anyone who's just like in Arizona and doesn't want to do like Mill or Old Town will go to Decadence. So it's just like fun, like a great time. 10 out of 10 will always love it, but like it's heavy.
Yeah. I always love Decadence with everyone because we would always just get in our feels and like be happy New
Here,
Year's.
same house.
Yeah. Give kisses on the cheek and hugs. And we always did this. It's so funny. We would always, at some point, someone would have a balloon or like something. And like we do these little like huddles, like holding the balloon or like touching hands, which is like so crazy to think about now being in the pandemic. Like
Oh
thinking
my God.
like how close we were to each other at some of these stages. Like I just think back to like Zed and Jaws at Decadence 2018. I want to
Yeah. Like when we were just like stuck in the middle and like everyone wanted
say
us to get
better.
closer so we can hear so baby
Yeah. It would change
um,
fingers. Oh my god.
everyone like coming in and out, and we were just like I
Hardly.
mean everyone's experienced this. We're not gonna act like we're the ones who invented being squished by a crowd. So
Oh, and we also had our totems.
oof, the totems were always extravagant. I'm really happy though that it's not a glitter gang now, and when I'm going places with you, I see like a very nice vibe with Aid. I love with the vibe with Aid, like community, vibe tribe, where it's like I'm holding the sign when I'm with Aid because I'm a tall guy. I can get it up there. People will be able to find this. And you see people walk up and they're like, oh my God. Like, you can tell they're like Adriana stands. And then they look at me and
They're like, who are you?
or they'll have the balls to be like, hey, like, is Aid here? Like, looking at me like I could have like stole the sign or something. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's like just shorter and like in this general vicinity.
I think that happened at Decadence 2019 where people would like look up at the sign, look at you, look back up, and they're like, where is she? Or like I would be at the bathroom and someone would have to be like, she's at the bathroom, she'll be right back.
You call me her secretary. I was just very cool with like, I would take this message. She will respond to you when she's available.
Yeah. I have the fam photo from, this was
oh my God.
2017.
And I don't even think that was everyone.
No, this wasn't
I think that was like day 2, which was like a little less. Yeah.
I'll put
Jesus.
the photo like up here, but we had our totem with our friend Troy's face on it. If you guys know Troy from some of the vlogs, that's his face.
Self-care suds right there.
It was so funny seeing that in DJ's photos.
I don't think we told him to. I think it was like the totem had been made, and then we sent like, so whoever made it sent a picture of it in the little group me, and then he was like, oh.
And then we had a Bob Ross themed one.
That was actually really genius.
That one was really great. That one was really great. We put like the kaleidoscope glasses on them and stuff. That's so funny. Yeah, this was Decadence 2016.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to like think about now.
But yeah, it's 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little over 4 years ago.
So yeah, like, a little bit about our fam. Now it's kind of like we still go to fests here and there together, but it's like a smaller group. I feel like people that like travel to festivals. Like if it's obviously in Arizona, it's a lot easier, but like we have our core group of ones that will like travel and stuff.
Yeah, it's like almost even a surprise. Like you'll commit to a festival. I'm sure you felt this way when you went to Cross, but it was like you like buy your ticket and then like you just put a feel out there and like, oh, like who's gonna go to this festival? And like so many of our people who like you hadn't been in constant communication with, it was like, I actually bought a ticket too. I'll be in Texas, or I'll be in California, or I'll be in like Colorado, and I'm just like, this is great. I get to see you again, and like there are people that live in Arizona, so I have no excuse. But like we'll go weeks or so without seeing each other, and then we'll run into each other at like ACL, and I'm just like, okay, well, this works too. But yeah, I can't complain at all. How do you feel about that? I think that's pretty similar for you.
Yeah, I think that's the same. I mean, when like Pooch, Beam, and Steven all moved out here, and I didn't see them for a while. They're like the hooligans of our fam, honestly. Like they were just like always on one at every festival. And they were like always doing up to shenanigans and stuff. And like I ran into Pooch at Seismic Dance event, and I didn't even know he was going. I knew he had moved, but he was there, and it was just like a total like reunion. Like nothing had changed or anything. Like we were back at the festival all over again. And that's been happening too. Like whenever I come home for festivals or to like other ones where people will be like, oh, I'll be at that one too. And it's kind of nice to just like have that old feeling back of like when we were like raving and going to festivals together back in the day.
I mean, I think we do a good job of traveling. I mean, people in the EDM community in general understand like, hey, a trip to a music festival is also a good reason to visit some friends. Coachella this year would have been a very big group of returners. Obviously that didn't happen. We were really looking forward to that one. So we'll just look forward to the next Coachella. Because I think a lot of
Lollapalooza was like a good reunion for a lot of us.
Yeah, there's about a good 10 of us, 15 of us. And like, well, none of us really live in Chicago. It was just like, this is the middle place for like everyone. So make it work.
I hadn't been to Chicago, so I was like, I'm down. And that lineup was like so good.
Time that weekend. Also because we got to just like enjoy Chicago. I think I spent like a full week there plus. I think I did like 8 days and I kept busy the entire time. Minus
so much fun. So what would you say is your most embarrassing rave story? Either from back in the day. Oh, I have one.
Of me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Start it. So like, oh no, I'm scared.
Think on it. You can all, if you have one of me, you can go for it.
Okay, we'll just do like back and forth. Okay, I'm gonna start thinking, but you go first.
So EDC 2017.
Nothing that would beat
this. This isn't embarrassing, you guys. This is just straight up sad and traumatic. So it's EDC day 1, 2017. Me and Ryan, girl Ryan, for those that know her, we had, her and I were buddy that whole day. Like we lost people, we found people, like we had the totem, didn't have the totem, like we were all over the place. We ended up at Cosmic Meadow. It's like the second to last set. I think Miha's on or someone. And it's me, Ryan, Lester, JT, and I don't know if there was anyone else there.
I think Amanda and Taylor were there for a little bit. Abe, Amanda, and Taylor were there.
Yeah. So we were all just like hanging out, whatever. Like Ryan and I still have like a little bit of energy. We're like, okay. Bleachers. Yeah, we were in the bleachers at Cosmic Meadow, and we were just like chilling out. Like it was probably like 3 or 4 a.m. And like we're just sitting there like taking a little bit of a breather. Lester is like trying to get his contacts out. because it's been like a long day. He was going to put his glasses on and everything. And like, from my perspective, like, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, he's just trying to get his contact out. Like, I didn't offer to help or like anything. I don't even know if I could have helped. But Ryan and I automatically see this fire like fly straight up from base pod. And Ryan and I look at each other and we're like, we need to go see what's going on over there, because we were just like, oh, fire. Like, let's go see what's going on at base pod. It was still our first EDC, the day one. We're like, let's go. Like, let's finish this day out, whatever. So we say bye to everyone. Ryan and I go off to base pod. We have a great time. We go home. Everything's fine. I don't hear from Lester. I assume he's fine, whatever. We wake up the next day and like in the group Scott, our friend Scott, sent a photo of Lester getting checked out at the ER in the hospital. And we were like, what happened? I'm like freaking out, but like obviously I can't text him or whatever because he's getting evaluated or whatever, like freaking out. And like we're all just kind of like, what is going on? Freaking out in the group like whatever. And
blame Scott for not putting any contacts in and just like sending a pic of me in the hospital.
Photo. So we were like, what is going on? We're all freaking out. Like, are you okay? Blah, 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 blah. And then Lester finally like texts in the chat basically being like, hey, I'm not making it to day 2. I scratched my cornea. I'm in a lot of pain. Have fun at quarter.
So, the thing is, I didn't just like scratch my cornea. I think what had happened was I was a little drunk when I was removing my contacts, and obviously at that point I was using monthlies, and my doctor had said that what probably was happening is that my eyes were just dry to begin with, because the monthlies were at the end of their usage. Yeah. And I'd scratched like a slight scratch in my cornea. And for those of you who have done this before, you know that it kind of feels like something's in your eye. And so my initial reaction, again, drunk, tired at 4 a.m. day, I just thought, oh, I had a contact stuck in there and I just like didn't pull it out fully. So I think I spent like from that point where Adriana saw me, it's like 3:30 a.m., like that, like us going on the shuttles, us coming home. I had about probably 3 hours dedicated to me being like, okay, something's still in my fucking eye. Like trying to run water through it, like digging in there. Because, you know, people with contacts, we don't give a fuck anymore. Like you just go in there whenever. As long as your hands are clean, like you're good. Or even then, like sometimes people do it. And literally, I went to bed finally because I was just like so exhausted, obviously. And I woke up and my eye was like in so much pain. Like even any remote opening of it was just like so violently like unbearable. So I was just like, okay, something's clearly wrong. At this point, it's clearly just not a contact in my eye. So Scott, our really good friend, he took me to the hospital. I think, remember the doctor describing, he's like, yeah, you have like destroyed your cornea. She was like, good news, it heals. So she gave me just like some disinfectant medication. There was like a numbing thing that they did like right at that like time, so I could like see just fine. It was blurry for sure, but realistically, there was no way once the pain, like the numbingness wore off, that I was going to get through a full day. And so I was like, okay, let me just like check in with myself, kind of get through the night. It was very painful. Like any form of blinking or like moving of the eye like hurt profusely. But I did unfortunately miss the middle day, but with my disinfectant drops, I was able to go day 3, like a nice night's rest really helped me be cool. And it definitely still hurt a little bit, but like I would remember I set a timer for every time I should have put the disinfectant on and I was with Adriana that entire time, and like I think she actually had the timer on your phone if I'm not mistaken. She'd be like, okay, it's time, and I'd like get down on like my knees and she'd like drop in my eye.
I wish we got a video of that, because like
and who was it Eric?
Taylor made you a little eye
Yes, it was Taylor. She made me a eye patch.
Eye patch.
Yes, and so I wore my glasses. So messy just thinking about that now.
It was crazy. I was like, how did you like whip this out? And she lived in Vegas at the time or something, and she like was able to just whip out a bedazzled like
yeah. It was just so sweet. And like I think everyone was like, it was really nice like coming back from like obviously having to miss out on like some of the people I was most excited to see. As you guys know by now, me and Aid are complete Porter whores. Like it's not even, there's no other term for it. Like we are just so obsessed. And I missed him obviously, which hurt my heart. But the next day was again so just meaningful because I got to be with everyone. They were all excited to have me. We actually stayed as a group pretty well that day.
Yeah, we did. I also had a Porter candy for you that I was going to give to you at that set, and then I just gave it to you. I think I gave it to you at Kid because I was like, I don't want to carry this too. Here you go.
Like, oh, we're going to start your day off right.
Yeah. That was so, I think about that all the time. Like being at like Axwell's set at Circuit Grounds, and I'd be like, okay, Lester, get on your knee. Time to put your
grounds that year. Just like the lights going around you. Very hard for one eye to go through.
We went to Circuit Grounds that day because it was like Axwell, Seven Lions.
I think Rez was there that day too.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't at EDC that year.
I feel like she was. I could be wrong.
She was at 2018.
That could have been it then. Yeah.
But yeah, that was like Excision, Joyride.
I remember Excision. I mainly remember Taylor Trujillo through Excision, or was it RL Grime?
That was RL Grime. That was the one. That was the one.
I remember being aggressively sober after RL Grime. Mainly because, again, I was with Taylor Trujillo during RL Grime, and she got the whole crowd just like...
Yeah. Her friend Taylor, she's a huge RL Grime fan. I was FaceTiming her last night, and she was like, dude, this is going to be my first year in like 5 years I don't see RL Grime live. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
When we went to Vegas for my birthday, that was the show we went to see in January. So I have seen him this year, and Taylor has not, so...
Oh my God, don't tell her.
You're gonna hear this? Let's the suck tank.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no, that was dumb. Okay, now anything about something you did. Okay. Let's go. I'm sure I can think of one per. EDC doesn't count because obviously like that was, I took the cake for just dumbest decisions entirely. I want to go back a little bit. And this isn't necessarily an embarrassing story for you, but I just like bringing it up. Not decent.
Oh, God.
So again, this was definitely growing pains of our community, our friends. This is our first time like all pre-gaming together. And I think the mistake of like ASU kids pre-gaming together when they're going to a rave is that they treat it like they're pre-gaming for a danger or like a party of some sort. And we all definitely hit it a little hard. In more ways, like just, I think we were just like piss drunk on our way out to the function, which if we did that now would be fine, but like doing it then was just like reckless and not smart at all. And at that point, Aid had roommates. I know you've seen Gabby. She's a really good friend of ours still, and then her two other roommates, Amanda and why am I blanking right now? Emma?
Katie,
yes, Katie and Amanda. And everyone. I remember because I think Illenium was performing or something. This was like one of the first times I'd ever seen Illenium on a like lineup. And I'm just like sitting out in the crowd, out of the crowd a little bit, and I see her two other roommates, just kind of like tired, just like hanging out. And I walk over to them because again, you know, be social, we'll chill with them. I can tell like I think it was like some of their first raves too, so they were pretty just like exhausted, didn't know what was happening. And I don't know if it was from like dehydration or something, but one of them just like passes out. And you know how that happens, and you're just like not in the best state to be handling crisis, but you're just like someone else gonna handle this? Nope. Okay. So I'm texting Aid because at this point I was like decent friends with them, but like not enough friends to like handle this. And I'm like, Adriana and Gabby, I'm like, hey, so like your like roommates are like not doing too hot. Can we get a can you come help me? And I think like bad service or something, like they didn't really get the text or something until like a lot later. And also, you know, with like raves in general, there's people coming around and checking in on people. So I was just trying to be like mindful of like when is the appropriate time to like involve them? Are they good? And I'm like, let's give it like a minute, see if they're like good. And then it got worse after I got them some water. And then the paramedics found them and they're like, okay, we're going to take them. And I didn't know a single fact about these girls. So I'm just like, I'm like, they're like, hey, do you want to give us some intel? And I'm like, no, have no idea. I gave her some water. We were chilling with them. I think she's just very tired and exhausted and dehydrated. Which is very common in Arizona festivals, as a lot of you guys will know. So obviously they had ideas of what else could have been going on. I'm like, honestly, you guys, I think they're just really, really just haven't been drinking their water today. Yeah. And so I finally went and found Adriana and Gabby, you know, just like catching them up on what happened. And like Adriana just goes like, oh, I'm the worst roommate ever. And we like checked her phone and she hadn't even got like a text yet. I think Gabby got like one, but it made no sense without like the context of the rest of them. So I'm just like, you guys are fine. Like, they're good. We'll just go pick them up at the end of the concert. But yeah, that was a fun one. Okay, let's think of something that like directly involves you. This is not fair because Adriana keeps her shit together. And like, even when she doesn't, I'm usually like way more in the hole. I think there's Second Sky, but like not the Second Sky festival, but the night before Second Sky.
Oh God. Well, I have to talk about a little bit more about context for Mad Decent because
yes.
There was like a lot more going on. So like to Lester, it was like these like my roommates just were not doing well, dehydrated, whatever. They were stoned out of their mind. Is what happened.
I think we were gonna call them out on that.
Yeah, they were stoned out of their mind. So like if you guys remember my first rave story back in 2015 when I went to Mad Decent, my precious Jessica, she got too high and ruined my Mad Decent experience. We've back to that, whatever. So going into 2016, I was like, you know what? We're going to have a good time. You know, I'm going with this solid group. Like, we're going to have so much fun. It'll be Gabby's first rave. It'll be like my other little Celeste is going and like my roommates are going. Like, it'll be so much fun. And me and Gabby decide to go with the group and get there around the same time as everyone else. My roommates and Celeste, my little, decide to go later in the day because it was just too long of a day one. So they decided day two that they would go later. In that time frame, they had a sketchy brownie from someone. It was like a free brownie or something. My little didn't have anything, but then my two roommates did. And so we were all like having a good time. Like Gabby and I were hanging out with the boys. Like we were doing good. I was mainly making sure that Gabby was good because it was her first rave and everything. Wanted to make sure. And she's tiny. So I was just like focused on her, making sure she was good. And then at some point I get a text from my little somehow. And she was like very overwhelmed with the crowds. That tends to happen to her a lot. She gets like a lot of anxiety. So like I ended up having to leave the group to go take care of my little because she was like having really bad anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I tell Gabby like the whole stay here, don't do anything, stay put. And Gabby was like, yep. Like
show she's in the middle of the group. Like there was many others. Like it wasn't like Abe was like leaving her to like the wolf. She was like maybe like 20 other people that she knew with her.
Yeah.
Preface.
Like left her with some water. Stay there. Stay chilling. And I went to go take care of my little. And then meanwhile, probably while Lester was talking to them was when I was taking care of them. And I'll never forget, I had Celeste in between my legs and she was just drinking water. We were talking, hanging out, whatever. And I just see my roommate, Katie, walking with the medic. And then, no, I see my roommate, Amanda, walking with the medic. And I see Katie being carried.
Carried! Yes! Carried. I remember. Because, like, shit just, like, started, like, they came with the flashlights. And they were like, hey, we need help over here. I'm like, no, it's not that serious.
This, like, little basket thing. blanket thing. And like
so much worse.
and she's so tall too. She's really
She's
tall.
like hanging out like the different ends of it, just like almost really looking.
And I was like,
so much worse than I remember.
I was like, oh my god, what is happening right now? Like I started freaking out. And then I was like, well, I can't go talk to the medics right now. Like I can't do that. I'm with Celeste right now. And Celeste was starting to feel better and everything. I was like, okay, like, are you good? Like, what do you want to do? And then I think she was like, found some other friends to hang out with. I think a roommate or something. So I dropped her off with them, went back to the group. The group was having a great time. Meanwhile, I'm like,
none of them were aware that any of this had happened.
Yeah. And Lester had sent a text to Quinny and Troy, I think. Was that the text?
Was it just like 4031? Is that one?
Yeah, someone tell Adriana the rest of Lit City is down. Because that's what we called our apartment. It was Lit City. And like Gabby was like having a grand old time. She was straight vibing. And I was just like, you know what? I'm here to have a good time, so let's have a good time. We'll pick them up at the med tent on the way out because I'm not dealing with this for another year in a row.
Yes. I think that night we learned the very aggressive lesson of like, we care. It's not that we don't care, because we very much do care, but it's like we care. You're good. You're taken care of. You're making better choices now. All right, we're gonna go back to what we were doing. Thankfully, I think a lot of our friends have never, they never abuse, or like I have a good sense of their bodies now. We don't typically have people pass out, especially if they're staying hydrated. So we're very blessed that we don't have to like deter ourselves much more anymore. But you know, like I said, first few raves together, there were bound to be some issues. That one just had like 5 or 6 simultaneously happening at the same time. I remember that year because that was literally the year that every single artist from like 6 p.m. on played their version of a Closer remix. We had it like literally.
Yeah.
And I remember, again, Millennium specifically, because like his was the only one that I actually found like tolerable. And like, I think he was like 4 or 5 performers in. And I'm just like, oh, this was different. Like, I see what he did there.
Who was the rapper that year?
Little Dicky.
Oh my god.
I just remember being in the crowd and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And then like people are like, oh my god, you don't know who Little Dicky is? And I'm like, am I like this? And like now I'm like, I've watched his show and like actually I have a lot of friends, more so than normal, that really like him.
He did like the national anthem or something, right?
Yes, he like stopped his whole set to like make us do the national anthem, and then he started making us chant the most obscene, like weirdly confusing thing. It weren't obscene, but it'd be like, when I say, like I say fuck spreadsheets, you say fuck abortions. And I'm like, oh my god. Like,
we're all like, what is going on?
Like, I mean, I think he's actually very pro-choice. But like, whatever he was, I don't remember exactly what he was making us chant. I wish we had a video of it. Because I just remember like our group being like, something's
But that's because it was Mad Decent. So like, for those that don't know, Mad Decent is Diplo's label. And like, he had these events, which was everyone's like gateway event, you know, to like raving.
Like a lot of newer names, and some more well-known people towards the end. But
yeah, and he always did a mixture of like hip hop and EDM. Like when I went for the first time in 2015, apparently Post Malone was there. And I
remember someone else has said this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't remember that at all. But he was like earlier in the day. He was like one of the first people that went on.
Crazy to think about.
But it was because Little Dicky was like, there was like EDM artist, Little Dicky, and then like the rest of the night and stuff. Like he was just in the wrong spot.
I definitely think the issue was like we were feeling like some real hardcore like melodic EDM like vibes, like some big old drops and things, and then he comes to the stage and it was like such an energy shift. Like, yeah.
And then after that was Justin Martin.
Yes.
Also that.
Yeah, so we figured it out. No, I love that. Mad Decent honestly holds so many of my stories, just because it was just so ridiculous from beginning to end. I'm trying to think because we started. Global was fun for a
God.
lot of reasons. We saw a few people that I really liked. Galantis was cute. Honestly, I think probably realistically, some of our better memories were just like some of the more touchy-feely personal, like, oh my God, we're best friends as a group feelings. And I'm sure you got everyone listening can say that for themselves as well. Like everyone does dumb shit, but like we thrive in like the, oh, like we'll be friends forever. Like that cheesy shit.
That Shelby Coachella.
Yes, you guys, I have this really toxic trait of being really fucked up. And when things get like super serious, I like to go on like a full-on monologue and kind of like preach to the masses. It's mainly our group, but sometimes we'll get a few people who are like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? And he'll like start listening and they're like either really vibing with what I say or they're again like, what the hell's going on? And Porter, Madion, like Shelter, like we had, it was literally like I was a church pastor in the middle of this crowd and like I was like just circled by our group and like you had people like crying and I'm like talking about like we're friends, we love each other, it's the future. I mean, it sounds a lot better I'm sure when you're really really drunk in the middle of the day at Coachella. And yeah, I have no idea.
We were also like a lot of us were seniors, so like
yes,
a lot of us were like super emotional about that. You weren't a senior, but like
no, it was a very big transitional.
Yeah, a lot of us were realizing like, oh shit, like we're graduating after this because like Coachella is super close to graduation.
Yeah, I like a lot of the primary not primary, but the initial GG was like primarily seniors and juniors in that group. So it was a lot of them were and like had plans to move on to other things, not going to be in Arizona much any longer. And we all like, you know, Coachella is like in April, so 3 weeks from then graduation comes around. So
I'll never forget, you made like some boys that I thought were super tough like cry at Coachella during that moment. Like
I will say this, it was nice to hear like the first note of like their set come on and you just see like Bryce Ritchie start like bawling. Like literally not a single thing has happened yet.
Same with Troy.
Yes, just like no. And I think we, like, I won't lie, we cried too, but like everyone knew that was going to happen. Like everyone knew me, Adriana, and like Deborah were going to lose our shit. Like that was just a given. Everyone else that lost their shit though, like hot.
Like, I'll never forget Divinity. Porter was playing Divinity, and I was just crying, and I just feel Lester's arms come around me, and I was just like,
I'm going to start crying now. This is pretty much trauma.
Yeah, such a good time.
Yes. Oh, and then we saw like Lord, like Hans Zimmer, like Galantis. Like that was a good day.
Any funny Coachella stories? I'm trying to think.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, we have some. I'm not gonna.
Oh.
You know exactly.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
Oh.
Not our story to tell, honestly.
Feel free to DM me.
Not our story to tell.
No. Honestly, I think we had just like a lot of camping shenanigans, as like all camping festivals go.
Devin getting lost.
Yeah. Oh, and just like waking up, just
so hot
and bothered, just from the sun.
Oh, we love it.
Oh yeah, but would I do it again? We were about to go camp again. Like we knew any better. Like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. We'll have a great time. Like,
I feel like after this time, maybe I'll retire camping, but like you can't pass it up, honestly, being that close to being able to walk to the venue. And
not have to worry maybe about I want a $14 hot dog in the middle of the night. Like, let me go do that. Like, you can't do that from the comfort of your Airbnb. Like,
yeah. I'll just never forget getting a call from Devin like every 5 seconds. His phone is on 1% and he's like, where are you? And I'm trying to like describe where I am. And he would, our friend Devin always has this habit of just like, I'm going to go wander off and do my own thing. And then
while being the worst planner.
Yeah. And then like, he'll get to a point where he's like, okay, I miss everyone. Where is everyone? And then come back to us.
He'll be at like 5% with like 4 hours left in the day. And like, text one of us, is like, I need you to find me now. My phone's about to die. And I'm like, boy.
No hydration pack, no water.
Living. And he always figures out, like, he always takes care of himself. He's just very much a nomad.
Now he's a real nomad.
Yeah, he's traveling. Not even just like hanging out with people. He's actually going to be in Arizona with us. Living in my place. So, just going to take in my little traveler
Yeah.
into our little inn here. But no, I'm trying to think. What other, like, just, like, maybe, like, just more significant memories?
Yeah, significant memories. The only other thing I can think of was, like, how much of a hot mess we were at Second Sky. Beatbox.
Oh my god, I don't remember. Okay, so to be completely transparent, with Second Sky, I just had a battle with being, like, so ungodly high, also while being so ungodly drunk. Like, I don't think I've ever tested the limits of that with my body. But it was beatbox. It was all beatbox.
That was my first time ever having beatbox at a festival.
And they were like, what, like 11? No, they were like $9 or something. Like, it was like it was really cheap for, like, alcohol you can get at a music festival, and, like, props to our reporter for, like, keeping things affordable.
So the one that she was like, it's $9.
Yeah, and you got, like, drunk.
Yeah.
And we had gone out the night before because we really played ourselves. We were honestly all there for not even 48 hours. Like, we were not in San Francisco for more than 48 hours. We showed up, we got, like, pizza with one of my, like, colleagues from college. And then we were like, okay, we're going to go out now, right? And we didn't really know where to go out. So we had one of my older fraternity brothers, he met up with us and, like, took us to a few places. And we found this, like, one, like, casual bar. And I think we were, like, it was like 8 p.m. Like, it was kind of early when we got there. And again, we all don't see each other that much at that point. Like, it was, like, usually around holidays or when we make trips to go out to go see each other. I think it'd been a few months, honestly, Adriana, since I'd seen you or Janet.
It had to have been since New Year's.
Yeah, definitely. And we hit it hard. I think I spent a good, like, $150 that night just on drinks.
We stayed at one bar too that entire
time. One bar playing, like, really top 40, like, pop music. But, like, did we care? No. Like, was my ass, like, scraping the ground as I was, like, dropping it low? Yes. Like,
it's in the vlog. Go check it out.
It made no sense. Like, we didn't fit with the rest of the crowd. We should not have been that drunk. And then we wake up the next morning, like, just, like,
it was not.
And we're, like, people who, like, we wanted to see, especially that year, because he opened with Virtual Self. Like, that's what he.
So we had to rally because he was on at, like, 1 p.m.
I think he went on at, like, 12:30.
Yeah.
And we, like, came out of our comas at, like, 10.
Yeah. And we had to.
No, it was like 9:30, and we got, like, breakfast, and then we're like, okay, everybody, run home. Oh.
That was such a long day because I was so hungover, and then I was like, I just need to start drinking so I can, like, start feeling better. And then, like, after Virtual Self and, like, Nina.
Oh, I loved Nina.
Las Vegas.
Yes, that was a fun one.
After her, and then up until, like, G Jones, we don't really remember a whole lot.
It happened. It
It was documented in the vlog.
Yeah.
We're having
see it in our faces. We were
just sitting around enjoying each other's company. People were coming in and out. Like, we were having a good time, but, like, lights were on. No one was home. Lester fell asleep at some points.
Okay. But the weather was so nice.
Yeah. It was a nice day out. We lucked out.
And it was, like, an artist where, like, it was, like, casual chilling music, because I really liked Second Sky because he, like, really mixed things up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like, weird that I was, like, passed out on the ground. Let the record show, like, it wasn't.
Everyone else was sitting on the ground and stuff too.
Yeah. I think people were imagining, like, everyone else, like, up and, like, having a good time, and it's like.
Yeah.
And then I just cuddled up next to some of the homies, put my head down on my hydro flask my Camelback, and just kind of closed my eyes.
Yeah, and then we got back, passed out, and then we all had to get to the airport, like, the next day.
Yeah, like, we were in and out. I think that was like a testament to, like, how long we'd been doing this, because, like, everybody had their shit planned. This story reminds me of another embarrassing thing that I did with the Airbnb. I showed up, like, 4 hours early.
Yeah. Because who was it? My ex that booked it?
No, I think he booked it.
I think he booked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you sent the information to me.
You called me and you were like, I don't think we're in the right Airbnb. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, did you not follow like the instructions I sent you? And he's like, yeah, but there's like other people's stuff here. And I was like, what? Like, no, that can't be right. And like we were looking, and then like I was looking at what time it was, and I looked at what our check-in time was. I was like, Lester, you're not supposed to be there. Like, they have to check out still.
11 a.m. and we weren't supposed to check in until like 4.
Yeah.
And I'm in this dude's apartment, and it, like I just was like, I feel weird. Like I am a black man in the middle of someone's house that like I shouldn't be in. Like,
yeah.
What's going on?
And we were
like, the code and everything worked.
There.
Like the key, like the code gave us the key. We entered, and I was just like, no one was in the house, so I was just like, back away, leave the house as you left it, put the key back in the slot. We came back like after some lunch, and it was fine.
I mean, not as bad as like me booking the Airbnb for the wrong weekend for Lollapalooza.
No, and you do not get the full responsibility for that because we were going so back and forth. And I think it's because we both also had plans for Labor, or we were trying to make plans for Labor Day.
Yeah.
And so we were like both simultaneously looking through the weekends. And I think just when we decided to book for Lala, we booked the apartment that we wanted to for Lala during Labor Day. And I kid you not, we literally did not notice
until the Monday.
We were like showing up. Yeah.
The Monday before that Wednesday, basically.
I think of how many times I could have possibly looked at that confirmation. I'm like, there is no way. I just sat there staring at September thinking it was August. And I think we honestly just thought Lollapalooza was in like September.
Because the dates were still the same, I think. Like it was still like the single digit dates or something. Or
1 to 4. I remember this.
Yeah, I was so mad because like my ex was with me when I booked it too. And I was like, this is right? And, like,
there's like 3 eyes on this, like 3 pairs of eyes.
So many eyes, and like I still booked it, and like I sent the information for like checking in and stuff, and like our friend Elise was like, hey, are these dates right? And I like look and I'm like, oh my God, they're not.
I remember you called me and you're just like, I just don't know what to do. And I'm like,
it was so bad. It was so bad.
She felt so bad. Like she felt like she was
crying. I thought my heart was gonna stop. Like I'm a type 1 on the anagram or whatever that is, which makes me a perfectionist. So like having a slip up like that still haunts me to this day.
But like, let the record show, like, did every single person within like 20 minutes, we had places for us all figured out. We had a few friends living out there, and a lot of us were already out there visiting some of them. So it's just like, we'll just all convene in spaces. And so it worked out wonderfully, honestly.
A lot of us ended up not having to even pay for. Yeah. I don't think any of us ended up having to.
No, it was really just like a lot of our like people who had figured other things out just like kind of let us in. And like we weren't even ever, I don't think any of us were even really cramped.
No.
We just kind of all split up beautifully.
We all had a place to sleep and stuff, and like it ended up working out.
Lollapalooza was a fun weekend.
That was a good weekend.
Lollapalooza itself is a lot of work. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever felt like I walked so much.
Yeah. What would you say, Lala or ACL? Because they're by the same company.
Oh, hey. Hey, now, I hate to frustrate people, but ACL all the way. Ooh. I will die on this hill. Feel free to find me and fight me. ACL is just so much more relaxed, for one. The food for others, and just like again being able to like have enough energy after to like be social. I remember that last night that we all went out, just because we might as well, like none of us had plans the following day, and like the whole town is truly just like taken over by ACL, and it's the same thing with Lollapalooza, but like the town that's being taken over is Chicago. So like the place, everything you do in Chicago is like high-rise bars, like things like that. Like they're super great and fun, but like you're not necessarily like in a bunch of people who have gone to the festival. Like you're in a mix of like everyone living their lives still, just going out, being like kind of bougie and great and cool, and like I'm not that cool. Whereas like when we went out with ACL, it was like the people who went to ACL and like college kids, I mean like younger adult professionals, and like everyone regardless was just having like a rowdy time. I imagine it's like a more like the crowd that weekend was like a more like, and it's also like families too, so it's just like you sit, you relax, like it's totally fine for you to just like chill back and like lay on a hill and like listen to like beautiful music. You can definitely do that in Lollapalooza, but it's not as like accepted. There's definitely more of like a standing mentality, just due to like there's not enough space for everyone to just be like lounging, and some of the stages are not necessarily catered for that. But oh my god, and the food! I think I spent maybe $50 alone on empanadas.
Yeah.
Empanadas, please plug them. If you could add their link. Anyone who ever visits Austin, please eat it for me, and just like text me and let me know how it was. I was really like my biggest bum this year as far as festivals was. I was totally 100% planning on going back to ACL this year, among other things, but like that just would have been.
Taylor wants to come.
Oh, we're getting everybody on the ACL vibe. You know how many people I've been like, you know what? You want to know my favorite like general music festival right now? ACL. Like you guys, I like it more than Coachella. Like not necessarily like I should dissect that more because people are going to think I'm like psycho for that comment. But it's just so much less work, you guys. Like so cheaper, like way cheaper.
You get to see a lot of similar artists.
Similar artists, honestly, similar production. I know everyone likes to put out like a full-on show for Coachella, but as far as like stages go, sound goes, performance energy, like you're seeing really consistently good performances, really consistently well done shows and lights and production. Obviously, like especially if you're going weekend one Coachella, you're not gonna be able to compare that with anything because like people pull out all the stops for that. But if you're just really trying to go for like some decent music, some fun times, like ACL is 100% something I would suggest you check out. Like I only went once and I'm like such a hardcore stan for it. Like it's insane.
Now
and
that
just
Pooch and Beam are out here, like I feel like a lot more people will probably come next year.
Oh, we'll make it a spot for sure. I think ACL would be probably something I would consistently go to. Like Coachella, I think there's limited years in my like my span for Coachella. I love it hardcore, but it's just again it is a lot of work. Music festival, like full on EDM music festivals, I probably will do like some bigger ones. I really want to go to Electric Forest. I have not been yet, and it's crazy that I haven't, being this closely related in proximity to Adriana. And please don't bash me. I know it's something I need to work on. But yeah, we'll figure it out.
Well, that was a little fun trip down memory lane, I'd say.
It makes me like you a little bit more. I'm just
okay. A little bit more. Well, I think that was all I really wanted to talk about was just everything. Oh, last thing, rapid fire questions. Ready?
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm going to get...
Talk about ACL, but favorite festival of all time.
Like memory-wise or favorite just like type like festival?
Rapid fire. First one.
ACL.
Done. Okay, top 3 favorite artists right now. Can be EDM or not EDM.
Okay. I'm really into a lot of newer people. Not newer, but like up and coming. Chloe and Halle. I think I'm saying their names correctly. They just came out with a new album. Disclosure actually helped them with their like premiere title song, so they're super fun. I've always been a huge Hosier stan. Just like his slow kind of alternative rock energy is very fun. So he's always somebody I like casually listen to. As much as this is not an artist, I'm very much a theater kid at heart, everyone, for you those who know this. So it's been a week since Hamilton has come out on Disney Plus, and that has easily been dominating my playlist right now. And musicals in general, I've really relied on a lot of musicals, but like those 3 have been really in high proximity and switches on my shuffle.
Okay, well, what about EDM then?
EDM. Oh, I'm just like, right now I'm like a Valentino Conho. I know. He's just like always been someone that we've enjoyed. And I saw him live in like October, before everything obviously shut down. And he's just someone that like, especially if I'm like playing his like music on my like speakers at home, comes on, I'm just like, It makes me really miss concerts. Oh, and Lane 8. Ever since his new album, I've just like been bumping it. I know you'd enjoy that, but yeah, those are the two like hardcore. I'm trying to think anybody else. Some remixes I've been listening to, but everything I listen to everything that comes off of Adriana's playlists. I really love plugging them in at parties and acting like this is my own tracks. And they're like, oh my God, like you guys collect these musics? I'm like, yeah, I'm just like really good at I have great taste. But no, yeah.
Last thing I'll ask for the boys, if there's any boys watching, what do you do when you're creating a festival outfit?
Oh, okay, this is good. I mentioned this obviously earlier, but like again, being just like a gay man, I find it a very fun time to play with, like kind of all forms of gender. I mainly, in general, as far as practical things, I look for kind of like lighter material or almost even like see-through. One of my favorite shirts is like a black mesh shirt. And it just like airs out well. I'm a big fan of keeping my shirt on during festivals too. I'm not really someone who like will take undress in any way, shape, or form.
Where do you shop?
I like. Oh, so I'm trying to be more sustainable about it all. Madewell, I've been buying a lot of like really consistent fabrics from, like kind of continuously using. As far as you just need durable things. Like if I'm wearing jeans, it's going to be like my Levi's. If I'm Madewell, honestly, I get a lot of my stuff from there. I would get a lot of my Rave stuff from Zara consistently because, as you guys know, it doesn't necessarily have the best shelf life as far as like quality of fabric. Like it'll shrink or tear consistently. But actually, if you're paying attention, you'll get a few things there. Like a few of my Zara picks have like lasted me, and I wear them consistently. I think my mesh shirt is actually from Zara. And Zara also has like the weird aspect that I like when it comes to, I like wearing like something that's normal and for the most part, but like 1/10 of it is going to be like a little strange, like something you probably wouldn't see out with somebody wearing, if it's like a weird cut or like it's like see-through or it's like short. But yeah, it depends. We had overalls that one time where we just found seeing overalls.
That was at UCL.
Yeah, that was good. I really also like, I'm first generation born here, and my family's from Nigeria, so I'll wear a lot of Nigerian and African artifacts as well. Try not to abuse my culture, but it's like definitely like I'll wear like Nigerian shirts. I wore a Nigerian jersey once, which I really liked. Again, breathable, functional. Obviously, that's not necessarily something you can do as a white man. Please don't do that. But also feel free to lean into like other cultures. Like again, it's just like EDM for everyone should be a great moment of expression and clothing. So if there's other things you identify with, like I'm totally fine with people wearing jerseys as classically shit on as it is. Like if there's like a team that you rally for, like go for it. If there's an artist that you like, they might not even be performing, fucking wear their jersey. Like who cares? Just have fun with it, be comfortable, and make sure you're not culture appropriating anything. So those are my takeaways.
Yeah. On that note, thanks for coming on. If you want to plug your Instagram or where else to find you.
It's very simple. It's the opposite of my hashtag. It is hashtag LestFest. So you just replace LESTFEST. Especially if you guys are trying to stay like active in the worldscape right now, I'm trying to be a lot more of a resource to especially people local and like how they can be active and help and contribute to the community. Also feel free, if you follow me, engage in discourse. I love chatting with people, especially as long as we're all respectful. So if and when, or just mainly when, we're all festivaling together, if I am going to something and you're also too, totally message me. I'm very down to just meet up with complete strangers and show you guys our group, especially if Adriana's not with us. I can definitely be your gateway into the glitter gang. I hate that. But yeah, I'm very friendly in person, or I try to be at least, and I'm always down to hang out with you all. So Thank you.
Thanks for
Vibe
coming
tribe.
on. Well, thanks for coming on. I love you. I miss
I
you.
love you.
All right. Well, we are going to wrap up this episode, so I will have Aid take it away.
Is that what we do to sign off? Like,
Yeah.
take it away? Okay.
My heart. I'm so glad I could share the light that is Lester with you guys. He's my bestie, future maid of honor. Which I joke about, but honestly, he probably will be, or he'll like do my wedding, like administer the wedding or whatever it is. But thank you so much, Lester, for coming on to today. I miss you so much, and I can't wait till I see you again when it's safe to. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, tag me on Instagram, share with a friend, all the things. You can find Lester on Instagram. I think it's at Lester Nnagbo. I'll tag it down below and everything. But I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Thank you so much for vibing with me today. Keep staying safe and healthy out there, and stay vibey. Bye!